Hi, I'm Carly and welcome to my garden. I've been gardening at some level on and off for most of my life, but really this garden behind me got started during COVID, so it's about 6 years old at this point, and it's really starting to show awesome signs of maturity. What I want to do this season is maybe once a week take you on a little garden tour. Part of this is for my records. Every gardener should be able to go back and see what's happening in their garden and kind of plan out and see patterns and seasonality traits. However, I think it'd be fun for you guys to see it too, because I'm always interested in other people's gardens, especially people who don't have tons of acreage, lots of land. I'm in a suburban lot in New Jersey. I'm in Manahawkin, New Jersey, which some people argue is 7A, zone 7B. It really kind of fluctuates because of our proximity to the ocean and to the Jersey Shore. So as I'm growing here, I'm also, as I said, in a suburban neighborhood, and this is really my side lot. Like, you can see how close the houses are together, and it's really just an area of my yard that we never used for such a long time. And I would kind of maybe do some gardening right along the house and had some tomato plants, and we a few years ago completely gutted it and transformed it. So come along with me. Immediately coming into the garden this year, I'm doing grow bags with potatoes. I have Yukon Gold potatoes and I also have russet potatoes. And the bags that I have are on either side of the garden entrance. And before we enter, we also have our wall of raspberries. Here I have regular red raspberries, but also golden yellow raspberries that are a little bit less sweet. Walking in through the archway, we have roses coming up. I also, for the very first time, planted a blue butterfly pea. It's supposed to trellis all the way up over the archway, but we'll see if anything happens. Here I have nasturtiums that are popping up all over the place because nasturtiums were here last year. Some calendula. This is the first time that I've actually done a lot of flowers, but that right there is broccoli, and of course some sunflowers. This area behind me with the cattle panel trellis is essentially tomato alley. I have 14 tomato plants in, and they're probably spaced out a couple feet from each other. I'm going to tie them up along the cattle panel throughout the year. I use Velcro garden tie stuff, and there will be enough room for all of them, I promise you. I have a short up on YouTube and TikTok that actually shows all the different varieties that I'm growing. I won't go through that full list right now because you would get very bored. Or unless you're like me and you actually really love learning about different varieties of tomatoes, maybe you would like it. Well, I'll pin the video in the description. Along with the tomatoes, I have onions. I have yellow and blush onions planted, and marigolds. I do companion plant them. These marigolds are going to get huge by the end of the season. And you can see the tomatoes are kind of at all different sizes right now. The vast majority I grew from seed. There's one in here that I did get from the garden center, and there was one that was actually a volunteer plant and came back from last year. These are my blueberry bushes. These blueberry bushes are about, I think the oldest one, the first one I planted one by itself, and that was probably 6 years ago. And then the following season I planted two more and put them all right next to each other. And they do need to be pruned back after the season, but I mean, they're getting pretty large. They do very, very well, and they're probably the first thing for me in my garden that really is able to be harvested, and that's typically in June. So it's always nice when I get to see them start to turn color because I know that the rest of the garden is on its way. Okay, let's take a look at the 3 boxes. These are actually not completely done yet. Right now, so far, I have a zucchini plant. This is a long white Palermo zucchini. I have some extra onions that I need to find some room for, and this guy's a pepper. This is a pepperoncini. And I'm debating whether or not I should go through and top these peppers. I've never done it, but I feel like that's something I need to do. This space is still wide open. We're gonna find something to put in there. Over here in this bed, again, I have, this is yellow squash. We're growing these vertically this year, trying to get rid of those squash bugs. I have some more peppers, and peas along this trellis going up, and an eggplant. Over here, this first one gets a ton of sun and is such a really great pepper bed for me. We do have peas, kind of early peas, that are making their way up, but we have poblano and jalapeno. I have some very, very hot peppers over here. Datil, I think is how you pronounce it. A buono mulata. This guy is looking a little puny, but I'm hoping that he survives. Behind me now, against this fence, is a lot of herbs, kind of cold weather crops. That is definitely the area in the garden that gets the least amount of sun. Still gets a ton of sun, but the least amount. So I try to put items in there that prefer a little bit of shade and don't need full sun all day long. Everything is mulched with straw already except for this area because I threw down some more carrot seeds, and I'm just trying to see if I can get some more going here. We have sunflowers popped all along the garden. More calendula in the corner. I kind of imagine it growing and just kind of overflowing off the edge of this bed, and those are my dreams, my visions, so we'll see if it actually happens. Sage. We have a butternut squash. This guy will hopefully be growing up this trellis, which is really heavy duty and will be able to hold it. We have some more broccoli and cauliflower over here, along with some cilantro. Oh, smells so good. I did throw some seeds in for mini melons, and I actually started some in the greenhouse too to kind of see which would pop up first. But my thought is to have the butternut squash kind of going up along this area, and then having one or two of these melons, mini melons, going up as well. And then they'll kind of cover this entire trellis and hang down from here. And by the time that they get over here, these peas will be done. So I'll just pull those out and we'll have more room to come down the other side. My chives are popping, and this parsley came back from last year, which I was really excited about. It's always hit or miss whether it will come back for me depending on the weather here. I did throw down some lettuces. I've never really had great success, but I'm trying. So far this is the best year yet for me, and hopefully I actually get some to eat. It's a Landis winter lettuce. Same thing over here. I have a cauliflower and a broccoli. In the middle, I threw my English thyme, and I have one cucumber plant. We don't really honestly eat a lot of cucumbers, so I have one Japanese cucumber that will trellis up here, and I actually threw in some seeds for mini watermelons. The mini watermelon seeds I have are delicious, these watermelons, but there's a lot of seeds, and I'm actually looking to see if I can find seeds for a seedless mini watermelon, and that might go against some gardener kind of, not ethics, but gardener rules. However, I need to grow things that my kids will eat, so we need them without the seeds. Making our way down, we have some more herbs. We have our oregano, dill. I have Swiss chard going, lots of rosemary, and tons of basil. When I was first planting this garden, again, I think by the time we put these boxes in, it was maybe 2021, and my kids were much younger, and I remember saying, hey, I'm gonna plant some flowers. What kind of flowers would you like? And my youngest was huge into Minecraft, and apparently in Minecraft you can grow peonies. So come check out my peonies. So many buds on here. And I already have it tied up because once these flower, it is going to lean over. This is a purple cauliflower. More calendula, we'll see what's going on there. And my roses, I don't remember what kind they are, but they are a pink color. I've had them for a while. They've been struggling. We had some lanternfly bugs here that really decimated them, but they're coming back. Okay, so that is the inside of this side yard garden. However, there actually is more. So I already shared about the raspberries along the side and our potato bags, but I also have strawberry and asparagus going. Oh, and before I forget, I actually threw onions in here too. Onions, onions, and more onions over there. And here is the strawberry and asparagus. This guy. This asparagus is only on its second season, so we have to just let it grow and not touch it, which is really killing me, but then I'll have asparagus for 20 years. If you know anything about asparagus, it's worth the wait. You can see my strawberry rocks in here to try to make the chipmunks and birds leave my stuff alone. We'll see if it works. We have some strawberries. This is, a bumper crop for strawberries. I planted this last year. So you've seen the side yard garden, the potato bags out front, the raspberry kind of bushes that are aligning the outside of the garden fence, and now the strawberry and the asparagus that are in a separate bed. In my small backyard, I have a small deck, and on that deck I have 2 5-tier green stalks. I don't even have the largest ones. I have like the smaller, like leaf size ones, and in those I have onions going, arugula, lettuces, trying to do some beets in there, and I also threw in an orange hat tomato. The orange hat tomato is made specifically for container growing, so I did go ahead and plant one of those, and we're going to see how it does in here. Off to the side, I have my mint. I have a regular mint and a chocolate ganache mint in here. Planted this last year, and it's coming back pretty nicely. This one is mostly arugula and onions. We love arugula. I put it on top of our homemade pizzas and any kind of sandwich. We call them kind of bougie sandwiches with chicken cutlets and mozzarella and arugula. Okay, at this point in time, I do think there's one more spot I have to show you for your records, for my records, and that is the greenhouse. We installed this greenhouse last year. It was a present to myself after getting my master's degree, and I would not change anything about it. Absolutely love it. Let's go take a look. So this time last weekend, I actually did a huge plant sale, and that's because I went ahead and planted too many things in this greenhouse. Everything that you saw in the garden, pretty much I planted, except a handful of those peppers I did not plant because peppers are notoriously hard to grow, and I was just kind of testing out this year, so I did about half of those. But all the tomatoes I grew, all the lettuces, a ton of stuff, guys. And everything behind me was stacked with plants. This whole thing was stacked. And then I planted my garden. I sold a bunch of plants to people in my community, and then I came in here and it was empty, but also it's not even Mother's Day yet. It's coming up to Mother's Day weekend. So I wasn't really sure, hey, do I want to continue to plant stuff? So I do have some friends that also needed items. I went ahead and I've replanted seeds for squash, zucchini, things that potentially could get attacked by bugs, and then I can just succession grow them, along with beans. I actually started growing beans. I sold a bunch of those, didn't keep any for myself, but they're so quick to grow that's why I was like, it's fine, I'll just plant some more for myself. So I have beans going. I have more basil going because I'm an Italian in New Jersey and basil is in everything. So I have more basil going as well. And sunflowers. For some reason, the really interesting sunflowers I'm growing are germinating and growing. I have chocolate cherries and autumn beauties and really cool colors, but I want some standard yellow ones, and all of those seeds for some reason are not doing anything. I have no idea how long this video is going to be, and if I've shared too much or too little. I feel like it went really quick, but I am going to be doing this really just so I can also see how everything is going. I do make a lot of short content on other channels, but it's nice to have kind of a long form piece of content to look back on and see. So thank you guys for joining me in my garden tour today, and I hope that you somewhere in your day have a nice cup of coffee and get to watch something grow.